Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen. Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi sallam tasliman kathiran kathira. Fama ba'du. Principle number 5. Rockefeller says, excuses are mental illness. Excuses are mental illness. My quote on excuses, I say excuses don't change reality. Think about it like this. Say you had your wallet in your back pocket, in your hip pocket, which is probably the worst place to keep a wallet. But most people do. So you had the wallet in hip pocket. People also keep the wallet on the dashboard of their car, right up in front and under the windscreen where it's visible to everybody. And then they have their window down and somebody obviously, puts his hand in, grabs the wallet and is gone. And you have lost all your whatever was in the wallet, your ID, your credit card, your money. So say, for example, you had your wallet in your back pocket and you were going to a railway station or a fair or some crowded place and your pocket is picked. Your wallet is gone. So now if you come and explain to me and give me this whole story of how it was so normal, natural, you did take precautions, but however, these people are so bad and the world is so bad, and therefore your wallet got stolen. And you give me all these excuses and I say, yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. It's not your fault, right? It is not your fault. Will your wallet come back in your pocket? It won't, because loss is loss, gain is gain. Loss does not change to gain just because you have an excuse. So excuses don't change reality. Rockefeller puts it another way, more powerful. He says excuses are mental illness. Then he says 3 excuses that kill success. I'm not healthy enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not lucky enough. Right? I'm not healthy enough, I'm not smart enough, and I'm not lucky enough. All of these are excuses. Paul Coelho says, if you want to succeed, you must never lie to yourself. And those are excuses. Lying to yourself is excuses. I don't have enough time. I'm so busy. The person who is accomplishing huge things is somebody who also has the same 24 hours. So I ask people sometimes this question. I say, what's your dream? So they tell me, my dream is this. Okay, fantastic. What's your life goal? That they have not heard about. They don't have that life goal. So if it's not a life goal, why don't you have this dream written down as a life goal? Okay, so I write it down. How does it become a goal? It becomes a goal when you put a timeline on it. So I will achieve this dream by this date. It doesn't matter if the date is sketchy, put a date. Once you do that, then I ask people, how much of screen time do you have? How much of time do you spend on screens? And it's very easy. Your phone has an app which tracks that. So enable that app and it will track the amount of time you spend on the screen. Average screen time for most people is between 4 to 6 hours. 6 hours is a working day. What you are doing for 6 hours is called a job. And jobs have salaries. So my question is, if you are spending 6 hours on a screen in social media, what are you getting paid for it? Who's paying you a salary for it? If nobody's paying you a salary, and of course we know that nobody's paying you a salary, then why are you there on that screen for 6 hours? As simple as that. Now, if you are there on the screen for 6 hours, how on earth are you going to achieve your dream, which I'm assuming is not being on a screen for 6 hours, right? So your dream is something else. So if your dream is something else, how is that dream going to be achieved when 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, your face is in your phone, and you're spending that time there doing worthless things, completely useless things, and getting nothing for it, while somebody else is buying another super yacht because you and people like you are giving him that time free, right? Your life, you're giving it away to whoever is who owns that social media, and as I say, the rest is history, right? Whether it's Zuckerberg or whoever, the point is to understand yourself that there are only 24 hours. Everybody has 24 hours. Now, what you do with that 24 hours is in your hand. If you don't do that and you blame somebody else, it doesn't work. In 83, I decided that I wanted to be an a leadership development consultant. Right? A leadership development consultant. I wanted to spend my life helping people become leaders. So, leadership development consultant with an international clientele, international practice. This is something that I wrote down in 1983. From 83 to 94, I didn't take a single day's leave. Not one single day. Every weekend and all my annual leave I spent in reading, in learning how to train, in learning how to design courses. To make matters more interesting and complicated, I lived in the Anamalays and in tea gardens, which meant that a beautiful place to live in. But if you have to travel, it means adding a full 24 hours to your travel schedule. Anything I wanted to learn was not happening in the tea gardens. It was happening, as we say in tea language, we say down in the plains. So it was happening in some city or the other. Most of those cities were not close to the tea garden, so which means that I had to take a bus down to Coimbatore from Annavallis, catch a train, go to Chennai, and if the thing was in Chennai, I was lucky. If the thing was not in Chennai, then I would have to take a flight from Coimbatore or from Chennai to whichever city it was, in Mumbai or Delhi or wherever. And then I had to attend that training course, whichever consultant permitted me to come there. So it is their course. They were kind enough to allow me to sit there in their course, to watch them train, and then to debrief them at the end of it, and try to understand why they did what they did, and so on and so forth. They were not paying for my food. They were not paying for my hotels. So I stayed in literally in some places I stayed in hotel rooms which had bed bugs, which had mosquitoes. Where I was sharing a bathroom with whoever else was there in the hotel. So stinking bathrooms. A place you wouldn't kennel your dog in. I stayed there because that's all I could afford. I had no money. In other places where I had friends, I tested their friendship. Parked myself in their homes, somewhere on some carpet or the living room or something, and just to stay. And I don't even know what I ate. I ate something off the street, of some street vendor. Now the point is, I did all this because I was absolutely clear in my mind that I needed to acquire the knowledge to become a leadership consultant. That was not going to happen where I was, so no excuses. I have to go where I have to go. Well, that means that I cannot take time off. Yes. That means that I cannot take a vacation with my wife. I just got married in 84. This happened in 83. The goal I made in 83, I got married in 85. 94 is when I launched my business, Yahoo Big Associates in Bangalore. That entire period, my wife and I did not take a vacation together. She would go off to her parents. I had 35 days annual vacation from my company. I negotiated to get another 15 days of leave without pay, so I'm losing pay for that. And I spent all this in learning how to train for 12 years. And my wife spent all those 12 years with her parents. And we didn't take a single vacation together. Weekends, I didn't go to this party, that party. The plantations were famous for all these things. There was no other entertainment, so we kind of, enjoyed ourselves in different ways. I could not take part in that because I was not there. I had to go and study. Everyone in the plantation had a TV. Color TVs came in 85 in India after I think it was the Asian Games, something like that, and color TVs were allowed. So they got imported. Everyone had a color TV. These were the days of the VCPs and the VCRs, video recording and video players. Everyone had a VCP, VCR. We did not have a TV and we did not have a VCP, VCR, not because we were such great morally upright individuals, but because we had no money. And the reason we had no money was not because I wasn't earning, but I was spending all of that in learning how to train. right? Now, all of this, so today when I take a class and people, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people are very complimentary and they say, oh, fantastic. And I come back, people come back to me. I just had most recently, somebody sent me a picture of the manual that I used to give. And this was in 85. So this was before even 486 computers, or at least we had no access to them. So it was all typed and photocopied material, articles which I had written, articles which I had collected, spiral bound and given to my course participants. This friend of mine who is now a CEO, he sent me a picture of that. He said, I just found this when I was rearranging my library. It's still as inspiring as it was at that time. Imagine, I feel so good about that. Somebody who remembers a course that I taught 45 years ago, right? Now, the point is, all of that ability didn't come out of the blue. It was not luck. It was very, very hard work for an insanely long period of time, for 12 years. And the important thing to understand here is that when I was in that, I didn't know it was going to be 12 years. I was not doing a 12-year course. Nobody does a 12-year course anyway. But I wasn't even doing that. I was doing what I needed to do to learn. And it took me 12 years. It's not because I'm stupid, but just because I was doing a full-time job as well. And in that full-time job, I was setting records, production records, manufacturing records, all kinds of stuff. Alhamdulillah. And dealing with labor unions, lockouts. I was doing all of that plus this. Now, I'm not saying this to boast. I'm not saying this because I want people to say, oh, fantastic job. No, I don't care. I was doing it because I believed that was necessary to do. And I did it. I didn't make excuses. I didn't say, oh, but you see, what can I do? After all, I'm living on top of the hill here. I'm living in the middle of the forest. And, after all, I have to take my wife here, there. I have to do this. Nothing. You get focused and you completely and totally forget about excuses. Do what it takes. It's as simple as that. Everything has there's a price within quotes for everyone. Whatever, any success, it has a price. The question is, everyone wants success, but people don't want to pay the price. So just like this, like saying, okay, I want to buy a car. Supposing I tell you, I want to buy a car. What will you say? You say, which car? Which car? Because the price of a Hyundai is different from the price of a Rolls Royce. So there's no such thing as a car. There's a car. Every car has a brand, has a name, has a price. Can I buy any car? Of course you can. But there's no such thing as any car. You have to know which car you want to buy, and then you have to fork out the money, which is the price of the car. And if you can do that, you can buy anything. You can buy any car you want as long as you can pay the price. Therefore, you can have success, as much success as you want, as long as you are willing to pay the price. So no excuses. You want something, define it, go after it. Do what it takes and it will come to you. It has to be. There is no excuse for this. Excuses, like Rockefeller says, are mental illness. If you're making excuses, you are serious. You're not serious about success. As simple as that. If you're making excuses, you're not serious. If you're serious, you don't make excuses. One of the two has to be either this or that. Right? So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to be serious with our lives, because this life is not going to come back again. And this life we are accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we meet Him, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it such that when we meet Him, it will be with honor, it will be to seek and get His forgiveness. Wa sallallahu ala nabil kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.